Well, hello. It's been, like 7 weeks of me dying. Hello, it's Dr. Matt. I'm a first year resident in emergency and critical care at North Carolina State University's College of Veterinary Medicine, Veterinary Teaching Hospital. Say that 5 times fast. NC State doesn't necessarily endorse or support my videos. Let's see. So the last time I posted was weeks like 4 and 5 at the beginning of September? I don't know. Honestly, it feels like a lifetime ago. Well, week 6, I went to the International Veterinary Emergency and Critical Care Symposium in Colorado. First time I've been to Colorado, in Denver and Aurora. I got 24 CE credits, which were some pretty long days of learning, but some really cool stuff, including coagulation, nutrition, ventilators, dialysis, and such. I went to the trippiest museum I've ever been to, called Meow Wolf, which was super cool, and I got to replace one of my hats that flew off my friend's head through a window onto the highway like 2 years ago. When I came back, I did 3 long weeks of overnights. So the first week back, I did 6 consecutive nights, which was like 90 some hours. Took me like probably up until recently to recover from that. Let's see. I had a congestive heart failure case, which was cool. It was the first one I managed, the first vent case I managed on my own. And gosh, if it wasn't one thing, it was another thing. Got the dog on the vent, had to do an orogastric decompression because its stomach was pretty large from all the aerophagia, and then probably like 10 minutes later, dog went into persistent ventricular tachycardia. It was just like this whole mess. And then about an hour after my shift ended, the dog became anuric and was showing signs of sepsis. So, great way to start off solo management events. I also got to teach 2 interns how to do a chest tap, which I'm pretty sure I was more excited than they were. It's a fun skill to do. I used dobutamine for the first time in a cat with congestive heart failure. I had a case where I had to put on meropenem, which made me squeeze my butt cheeks together for like all night. In my defense, the dog was diagnosed with pneumonia that was really only susceptible to meropenem based on culture and sensitivity, but still just didn't feel right. I had 2 septic abdomen cases. One did really well and started eating like a few hours after surgery. The other one developed a fever of 107, acute lung injury trending towards ARDS. So that one unfortunately was euthanized. And then on my last night, I started off with like 10 or 11 inpatients. Several of them went home. There's supposed to be like 8 more on the way. Only 3 came. Towards the end of the night, I had 11 inpatients, and one of them was like a last-minute transfer from the step-down ward at like 4:30 in the morning for like nonstop seizures. So that was that week. Then I had 2 more weeks of overnight ICU, which I guess it wasn't really that memorable because nothing's really coming to mind. Week 10 was the first time I've been on daytime ICU in a month. So it felt weird being at work with the sun up all day. I had a patient whose name was very similar to mine, which really kept throwing me off. A dog that ate 1 gram per kilo of Advil, so 1,000 milligrams per kilogram of Advil, that got therapeutic plasma exchange and actually did really well and went home like within a week. I had my first cat that was a ventilator case. That was interesting. He unfortunately had to be euthanized, which had nothing to do with the vent, just some other things. And then some really interesting things that I saw. So I was on medicine for the last 2 weeks, and it was good. It's pretty manageable. Kind of wish I had more cases, but, a man dreams, I guess. Anyway, so I had 2 cases of high-output heart failure, which I've never heard of before. Went through my vet school notes, asked a bunch of my buddies. Nobody remembers it. So I went into cardiology, and they were all like, oh, we didn't learn this either until residency. So it makes me feel better. So I had my first confirmed case of cytozoan felis in a cat, which it was pretty heavy infection. Could see it on blood smear. The cat had pretty severe pleural effusion, immune-mediated hemolytic anemia, which was secondary, and then a thrombocytopenia, probably due to consumption. That was a roller coaster of a case. There's like 2 or 3 times he tried to die, but fortunately, with some help, we were able to get him out after 8 days of hospitalization, and he's still doing really well at home. I just really hope he doesn't relapse. But yeah, it was cool. So we used the protocol that was developed at NC State University by Dr. Adam Birkenhauer, which is essentially for these guys, atovaquone, azithromycin, heparin C or I, no touchy. So that went well. And then that same day, I was transferred this tiny little kitten who also had high output heart failure, so like a little bit of peritoneal effusion, scant pericardial effusion, and moderate pleural effusion. She ended up getting diagnosed with FIP, and she went home after 9 days and is still doing really well, other than like a little bit of diarrhea, just because the abrupt food change we had to do to help her put on weight. I had a dog that we found a liver mass, so he was referred to us for an acute hepatopathy that was mixed with a little bit more hepatocellular. So the ALT was over 2,000 with dilution. The ALP was like 1,900. The GGT was 120. And then the bilirubin slowly went up. I was like 3.5 the last time I checked. On abdominal ultrasound, he had like a really large cavitated mass that kind of looked more like a cystadenoma or a cystadenocarcinoma. Either way, tried to get him into CT, but we just had so many like emergent anesthesia cases, he got bumped. Unfortunately, he just got euthanized the other day for quality of life, which was unfortunate. I had my first case of pemphigus, probably foliaceous, and it was in a cat. Treated her skin was like essentially like melting off, and then we incidentally found a liver mass, but she's feeling a lot better, so I'm hoping in the next couple weeks her pemphigus significantly improves, which is what I was told usually happens. This past weekend and this week I'm off. Well, technically I'm on PD week or professional development, so essentially it's like kind of not really a vacation in that if they need me to pick up extra shifts just to like cover, or they need me to teach, I should be available or whatnot. But now I finally have time to, see a primary care doctor for my wellness visit for the first time in like 2 years, refills of my medications, get my car inspection that keeps getting pushed back, work on my car. I need to find a dentist, like badly. It's been like a year and a half, I think. Get the house together and, grooming for all 5 of our animals. So, boy. I also had one of the first cases I had as a resident. I think my first or second day, his necropsy recently came back. The histopath took a while, and it turned out he was having like thromboembolic events everywhere, which is just like super fascinating. The theory is so the dog got into chocolate a couple days before he came to us. He was treated as a referring ER. He got pretty hypernatremic, like above 180. Got fluid overloaded and then was sent to us. And then I think in the middle of the night, like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, the first night he was hospitalized, he arrested. And then based on gross necropsy, he had like a pretty large infarct in his left ventricle. So there wasn't really much saving him, unfortunately. But really cool case with like diffuse thromboembolic disease. So this week I'm just finishing up some touches on my like high output cardiac failure kind of like lesson, lecture, PowerPoint, whatever you want to call it, just because it really helped me learn what the hell it is and what it is and what it is. But it's super cool. So if you're interested, stay tuned in the next couple of days. That will be published shortly. And then who knows what I'll do next. I guess my next residency update video will be like the end of next week. I'm back on overnights again, so who knows. But either way, thanks for coming to listen to me yammer. If you have anything that you want to hear or learn about specifically, comment below. Otherwise, like and subscribe. Thanks a lot. Bye.